Welcome to Chapters Chat, our deep dive where we pull out the best bits of knowledge and insight from all sorts of sources, just for you.
Glad to be here.
So today we're jumping into something really fascinating. It's this idea that really small changes, things that seem almost insignificant, can actually lead to huge results over time.
Exactly, like life-altering results, potentially.
Right. What if just one tiny adjustment, but done consistently, could totally reshape where you end up?
Yeah, and the source material we're digging into today, it really breaks down the science behind habits, how to build the good ones, how to ditch the bad ones.
It offers some really practical strategies too, doesn't it?
Totally. And it argues pretty compellingly, I think, that reaching your potential isn't about these massive one-off transformations. It's about the power of small, everyday habits.
And the author's own story is kind of central to this, isn't it? It's pretty dramatic.
Oh, incredibly so. Picture this. Last day of high school, sophomore year, he's playing baseball, and a teammate's bat slips, flies through the air, and hits him square in the face.
Oh, wow. That's awful.
Yeah, devastating. Multiple skull fractures, shattered eye sockets, crushed nose. He even slipped into a coma for a bit. It was, a truly life-changing moment.
I can only imagine. And the recovery must have been brutal.
Months and months, really arduous. He had trouble with basic things, eating, breathing, just walking. It was a long, hard road back.
And yet he did come back. He went back to baseball, right?
Yeah.
Even after all that.
He did. About a year later, he returns to the team, the sport he loves, only to get cut from the varsity squad.
Oof. After fighting back from that, that's got to be a real gut punch.
Absolutely demoralizing, you'd think. But it wasn't the end. He made varsity his senior year, went on to Denison University,
And that...
became the top male athlete there, ended up in 8 school record books.
That's incredible. So that whole journey from near death to, athletic success, how did that shape his ideas?
It was everything. His recovery wasn't one big heroic push. It was tiny steps every single day, showing up for therapy, pushing just a little bit more.
Consistency.
Exactly. That experience became the foundation for everything he wrote about later. He started writing about habits, testing things on himself.
And people responded.
Massively. Built this huge email list, got a book deal, launched his Habits Academy, which, wow, has over 10,000 graduates now.
So his story is living proof, really.
Yeah.
Big changes come from adding up all those seemingly tiny actions.
That's the core idea.
Which brings us to this term he uses, atomic habits. It sounds powerful, but what exactly does atomic mean in this context?
Right. So atomic literally means an extremely small amount of something. It's like the single basic unit of a larger system.
Okay.
So when we talk atomic habits, we're talking about those tiny fundamental improvements, the absolute building blocks that, when they compound, create massive results.
Okay, so it's about the compounding effect of tiny things. That reminds me of the aggregation of marginal gains idea.
Yes. The book uses the fantastic example of Dave Brailsford and British cycler.
Oh, yeah, they were famously, well, not great for a long time, right?
Not great is an understatement. A whole century of mediocrity. Like 1 Olympic gold medal since 1908, 0 Tour de France wins in 110 years. Apparently, one big bike maker wouldn't even sell them bikes because they thought it would damage their brand.
Wow. So Brailsford comes in.
Yeah.
What was his big idea?
It sounds simple, but it was revolutionary. The aggregation of marginal gains. He just thought, what if we find a tiny 1% improvement in absolutely everything we do related to cycling?
1%. That seems so small.
Deceptively small, because they looked everywhere. Not just bikes and training schedules, they tested more comfortable bike seats, rubbed alcohol on tires for better grip.
Seriously, alcohol on tires.
Yep. They had riders wear electrically heated overshorts to keep muscles at the ideal temperature, use biofeedback sensors. They even looked into different pillows and mattresses to optimize sleep.
They really left no stone or pillow unturned. And did it work?
Yep. Did it ever? Within about a decade, British cycling was dominant. Tons of Olympic gold medals, multiple Tour de France victories. It wasn't one magic bullet. It was hundreds of tiny gains adding up.
That compounding effect is just incredible. It makes you think, where else does that happen? Like in our everyday lives.
Oh, it's absolutely everywhere. Think about your finances, your net worth. It's basically a lagging measure of your financial habits.
Okay.
Your weight reflects your eating habits over time, how much you know. that comes from your learning habits. Even like the clutter in your house is just the result of your cleaning or not cleaning habits.
You get what you repeat. That's what the book says, right?
That's the essence of it. It's the accumulation that matters.
But it doesn't always feel like progress, does it?
Yeah.
Sometimes you put in the work and nothing seems to change. The book talks about this plateau of latent potential.
Yes, and the valley of disappointment. It's a really crucial concept. Think about an ice cube in a cold room.
Okay.
The temperature goes from, say, 25 degrees to 26, 27, up to 31. Nothing visible happens to the ice cube.
Right. Still frozen.
But all that energy is being stored. Then, at 32 degrees, boom, it starts melting. That breakthrough didn't come from nowhere. It was the result of all the previous unseen work.
So the plateau is that period before the breakthrough.
Exactly. People expect progress to be linear. They work hard, see no results, get frustrated, and quit right when they might be on the verge of that breakthrough.
That overnight success that was actually years in the making.
Precisely. You have to trust the process even when the results aren't obvious yet.
Trusting the process. I
Right.
like that. It also makes me question how we usually approach things. We're always told, set big goals, aim high. Is focusing on the goal the wrong way to go?
Well, the book argues that goals themselves aren't the problem, but our intense focus on them can be. The real issue often lies in our systems.
Systems. Define that for us.
A system is simply the process that leads to the results. So a coach wants to win the championship. That's the goal. But their system is how they recruit players, run practices, manage their staff. That's the repeatable process.
Okay, so focus on the process, not just the prize. What's wrong with being goal-focused, though? Don't goals give us direction?
They can, yes. But there are three main problems with a goals-first mentality. First, achieving a goal is often just a momentary change.
Like cleaning your room.
Exactly. You achieve the goal, a clean room. But if you don't change the system, your habits, that led to the mess, it'll just get messy again. You treated the symptom, not the cause.
Got it. What's the second problem?
It restricts happiness. We fall into this trap of thinking, once I reach my goal, then I'll be happy.
Yeah, I think we all do that sometimes.
Right. You're constantly postponing satisfaction. But if you focus on the system, you can derive satisfaction from simply running the process, from doing the work day in and day out. Happiness becomes part of the journey, not just the destination.
That's a big shift in thinking. And the third problem?
Goals can actually be at odds with long-term progress. What happens after you achieve a big goal, like running a marathon?
You stop training so hard. Maybe take a long break.
Often, yeah. The motivation drops because the thing you were chasing is done. A systems focus encourages continuous improvement. It's never really finished.
So the book says, you fall to the level of your systems. Your baseline is determined by your processes.
That's the key takeaway. Strong systems protect you even when motivation wavers.
Okay, if systems are that critical, how do we build effective ones? Is it just about buckling down and having more willpower?
Actually, no. The book suggests something deeper. The most powerful way to change your habits is to focus on who you wish to become.
Identity.
Exactly. Identity-based habits. There are 3 layers of change: outcome, the result, process, the system, and identity, your beliefs about yourself.
And changing identity is the most effective.
By far. Because every action you take is like a vote for the type of person you want to be. If you want to be a writer, writing each day casts a vote for, I am a writer.
So you're not just trying to achieve an outcome, you're reinforcing a belief about yourself.
Precisely. Think about things people take pride in: their hair, their muscles if they lift weights, their knitting projects. That pride in the identity drives the habit. I'm the type of person who
Has great hair, or is strong, or knits beautiful things.
Yeah, true behavior change isn't just about results, it's identity change. The habits become part of you.
Okay, this foundation is really helpful. Let's get practical. The book lays out the 4 laws of behavior change. Where does it start?
It all starts with understanding the basic habit loop. It's this neurological feedback process. Cue, craving, response, reward.
Cue, craving, response, reward.
Okay. Your brain runs through this loop constantly, creating automatic habits. It saves mental energy. But here's the catch. You don't even have to be consciously aware of the cue for the habit to kick in.
So a lot of this is running on autopilot.
A huge amount, which is efficient, but also why bad habits can be so sneaky and hard to break. They just happen.
So if they're unconscious, how do we even start changing them? What's the first law?
The first law: make it obvious. You have to bring awareness to what you're actually doing. As Carl Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate.
Wow. How do we do that practically?
A really simple tool is the habit scorecard. Just list your daily habits, wake up, check phone, brush teeth, make coffee, and mark each one as positive, plus, negative, or neutral.
Just seeing it written down must be eye-opening.
It really can be. Another technique is pointing and calling, which comes from the Japanese railway system.
Pointing and calling. What's that?
Conductors physically point at things, like signals or speed dials, and verbally call out the status. Signal is green, speed is 75.
Right.
It forces an unconscious action into conscious awareness. It dramatically reduces errors and accidents. You can do it yourself. Feel an urge for junk food. Point at the cookie and say aloud, I'm reaching for this cookie, but I don't need it.
Okay. Might feel a bit silly, but I see the point. Makes it harder to ignore.
Exactly. Then there are implementation intentions. This is super powerful. You state very specifically when and where you'll perform a habit.
Not just I'll exercise more, but
I will do 20 push-ups at 7 a.m. in my living room. That clarity dramatically increases follow-through. It pre-decides for you.
and habit stacking. That links into existing routines, right?
Yeah, it's brilliant. The formula is, after current habit, I will new habit. So after I pour my morning coffee, I will meditate for 1 minute. You anchor the new habit to something you already do automatically.
Makes sense. Leverage existing momentum.
And maybe the most crucial part of making it obvious is environment design. Make the cues behind your good habits impossible to miss.
Like leaving your running shoes by the door.
Perfect example. Want to drink more water? Fill up a few bottles and place them around the house. Want to practice guitar? Don't hide it in the closet. Put it on a stand in the living room.
Make the right choice, the easy, visible choice. Like that story about the fly sticker in the urinals at Schiphol Airport.
Exactly. A tiny visual cue that dramatically reduced cleaning costs because it gave people something obvious to aim for. It's about shaping your space to shape your behavior.
And the flip side is removing cues for bad habits.
Absolutely. The Vietnam War heroin study is a stark illustration. So many soldiers used heroin in Vietnam where cues were everywhere.
Right.
But when they came home, back to a totally different environment without those cues, relapse rates were surprisingly low, much lower than typical rehab outcomes where people often return to the same triggering environment.
So willpower isn't the whole story. Environment is huge.
It's arguably more important. Self-control is often about structuring your environment so you don't need as much self-control. Avoid the cues in the first place.
That leads to the idea of one space, one use, doesn't it? Don't mix contexts.
Yes. If your couch is where you work and relax and eat, it's hard for your brain to switch modes. Try to have distinct spaces for distinct activities, a desk for work, a table for eating, a comfy chair for reading. It helps create clearer boundaries and cues.
Okay, so we've made the cue obvious, but we still need the motivation, the desire. What's the second law?
The second law, make it attractive. This taps into how our brains work, specifically with dopamine.
Dopamine. That's the pleasure chemical, right?
Well, yes, but it's more about anticipation than pleasure itself. Dopamine spikes when you expect a reward. That feeling of wanting, of desire, is incredibly powerful. Our brains are wired more for wanting than for liking.
Interesting. So it's the anticipation that drives us. How do we use that?
One great technique is temptation bundling. You pair something you want to do with something you need to do.
Like the engineer who hacked his exercise bike.
Ronan Byrne, yeah, he linked his bike to Netflix. If he wanted to watch, he had to pedal. If he stopped pedaling, Netflix stopped playing.
That's genius. So the formula is like, after I do the habit I need, I get to do the habit I want.
Exactly. After I finish these work emails need, I will watch one episode of my favorite show, Want. You bundle the temptation with the necessary task.
What else makes habits attractive? The book talks about social norms.
Oh, hugely important. We're social creatures. We want to fit in. So we tend to imitate the habits of 3 groups.
Okay, who are they?
First, the close. Our friends, family, colleagues. Their habits rub off on us, for better or worse. Think about how smoking often starts among friends.
Makes sense. Second,
The many, the tribe, the majority. We look at Amazon reviews, Yelp ratings, bestseller lists because we assume if lots of people are doing it, it must be the right thing to do. We want to conform.
safety in numbers. And the third group.
The powerful, people we admire, those with status or prestige. We copy the habits of successful people because we desire similar success or respect.
So surrounding yourself with people whose habits you want to emulate can make those habits more attractive to you.
Absolutely. Joining a group where your desired behavior is the norm is a powerful way to reinforce it.
Okay, law 1, obvious. Law 2, attractive. What's next?
The third law, make it easy. This taps into a fundamental human tendency, the law of least effort. We are wired to conserve energy.
We're naturally lazy.
You could say that. We gravitate towards the option that requires the least work. Think about why agriculture spread faster east-west across Eurasia than north-south in the Americas.
Climate.
Exactly. Similar climate zones east-west made it easier for crops to spread. North-south required adapting to totally different climates, more effort. We follow the path of least resistance.
So for habits, we need to reduce friction for the good ones.
Precisely. Make good habits the path of least resistance. Think about successful modern products. Meal delivery kits, ride-sharing apps, Amazon one-click ordering. They succeed by removing steps, by making things frictionless.
So how do we reduce friction in our own lives?
A key strategy is to prime the environment. Set things up in advance to make the future action easy.
Like laying out your workout clothes the night before.
Perfect example. Or prepping healthy meals on the weekend. Chopped vegetables, portion snacks. When the moment comes to choose, the healthy, easy option is right there.
It removes the decision-making effort when you're tired or busy.
Exactly. It automates the good choice by preparing for it. It's about mastering these little decisive moments.
Those small choices that dictate what follows, like grabbing keys for the car versus grabbing a bike helmet.
Yes. Those tiny choices early on can shape the next chunk of time. Twyla Tharp, the famous choreographer, had a ritual: hail a cab to go to the gym. Once she did that tiny action, the rest of the workout followed easily. The habit was just getting in the cab.
That leads nicely into the 2-minute rule.
Ah, yes. Such a powerful idea. When you start a new habit, make it take less than 2 minutes to do.
2 minutes, that seems too small. Like read one page instead of read a chapter.
Exactly. Or do one push-up instead of do a full workout. Or put on my running shoes instead of run 5K.
Why does that work?
Because it's about mastering the art of showing up. It ritualizes the beginning of the process. Anyone can meditate for 1 minute or read one page or do one push-up. It makes it incredibly easy to start, and starting is often the hardest part.
And once you started, it's easier to continue?
Often, yes. But even if you just do the 2 minutes, you've still reinforced the habit. Cast a vote for that identity. It's far better than doing nothing.
Okay, obvious, attractive, easy. What's the final piece?
The fourth law. Make it satisfying. This is crucial for making habits stick long-term. It boils down to the cardinal rule of behavior change. What is immediately rewarded is repeated. What is immediately punished is avoided.
The immediate reward. That seems tricky for good habits, right? The reward is often delayed.
That's the core challenge. Bad habits often give immediate pleasure, eating junk food, scrolling social media, but have delayed costs. Good habits often have immediate costs, effort, discomfort, but delayed benefits, health, knowledge.
So we need to find a way to make the good habit feel good right now.
Exactly. We need to inject some immediate gratification. The book uses the example of the hand-washing study in Karachi, Pakistan.
With the nice soap.
Right. People knew they should wash their hands, but weren't doing it consistently. When they were given Safeguard soap, which smelled nice and lathered well, hand-washing rates shot up. Because the soap made the experience immediately more pleasant, more satisfying, that little bit of immediate sensory reward reinforced the behavior long before the health benefits kicked in.
So find ways to give yourself an immediate win, like habit tracking.
Yes, habit tracking is brilliant for this. Simply marking an X on a calendar each day, you complete your habit. It's a small visual proof of progress. It feels good to see the chain grow.
That don't break the chain idea.
Exactly. It creates immediate visual feedback and satisfaction. And the related rule: never miss twice. If you slip up one day, make sure you get back on track the very next day. 1 missed day is an accident. 2 is the start of a new bad habit.
What about the punishment side? Making bad habits unsatisfying.
Accountability is key here. The book mentions Roger Fisher's slightly terrifying idea about the nuclear code.
Oh yeah, making the president kill someone first.
Right, an extreme example of making the consequences immediate and visceral. Luckily, we don't need to go that far.
Thankfully. So what are the practical ways?
An accountability partner or a habit contract, knowing someone else is watching or that there's a pre-agreed cost for failing, makes the pain of not doing the habit immediate.
Like that guy Brian Harris with the contract with his wife and trainer.
Yeah. If he failed to log his food, he had to wear dress clothes every day for the rest of the quarter and pay his trainer $200.
Ouch. That's immediate social and financial pain.
Exactly. It raises the stakes and makes skipping the habit immediately less appealing.
Okay, those 4 laws, Obvious, attractive, easy, satisfying provide a really solid framework. But what about keeping things going long term, staying motivated?
Good question. The book touches on the Goldilocks rule. We experience peak motivation when we're working on tasks that are right on the edge of our current abilities.
Not too easy, not too hard.
Just right. Challenging enough to be interesting, but not so hard that we get discouraged. You need that feeling of making progress.
But what happens when the progress itself becomes, well, boring?
Ah, yes. The inevitable boredom. The book makes a crucial point. The greatest threat to long-term success isn't usually failure, it's boredom.
Really? Boredom.
Think about it. Professionals in any field, athletes, writers, musicians, stick to their schedule even when they don't feel like it, even when the work feels repetitive. Amateurs only work when inspiration strikes.
So you have to fall in love with boredom, as the book says.
Pretty much. You have to embrace the repetition that mastery requires. Showing up is more important than feeling excited every single time.
That's a tough one. What about natural talent? Do genes dictate our habits?
Genes definitely matter, but maybe not how we think. They don't lock in your destiny, but they do influence your areas of opportunity.
Like Michael Phelps being built for swimming.
Exactly. His body type gives him a huge advantage in the water, just like Hicham El Guerrouj's physique was suited for distance running. Genes can predispose you to certain personality traits too, like being more conscientious or extroverted.
So the advice is,
Play a game where the odds are in your favor. Pick habits that align with your natural inclinations and skills. Don't try to force yourself into a mold that doesn't fit. Explore different things. Find what clicks for you, and then exploit that advantage.
work hard on the things that come easily to you. That sounds almost too good to be true.
It's about maximizing your own potential, not trying to be someone else. You can even combine skills to create your own unique niche where you face less competition.
Like the author creating his own biomechanics major.
Right. Play your own game.
And finally, what about when our circumstances change? Like an athlete retiring? How do habits and identity adapt?
That's where identity redefinition comes in. Your identity shouldn't be too brittle. If your identity is solely, I am a CEO, what happens when you retire?
You have an identity crisis.
Potentially.
Yep.
But if your identity is more flexible, like, I'm the type of person who builds things and leads effectively, you can apply that in new ways after retirement. Or an athlete becomes someone who is mentally tough and loves a physical challenge. Keep the core, adapt the expression.
That allows for continued growth. So, wrapping up, it seems progress comes from wanting something different, but satisfaction comes from liking what you do.
Exactly. Aligning the wanting and the liking, finding that sweet spot of being motivated enough to act, but also finding the process itself satisfying enough to repeat.
So maybe the final thought for everyone listening is, how can you start designing your own environment, your own systems using these laws? How can you become the architect of your habits?
Yeah, maybe just pick one thing, one tiny atomic habit you want to start or stop, and then ask, how can I make it obvious? How can I make it attractive? How can I make it easy? And how can I make it satisfying? Start small.
Great advice. Well, that's all the time we have for this deep dive on Chapters Chat. We hope you found that useful.
Definitely some powerful ideas to chew on.
Absolutely. And hey, if you enjoyed this, at the end, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We'll catch you next time.